Hello. Thank you so much for joining. I'm going to wait just a few minutes here to let more people join since we're right at the top of the hour. Hope everyone's excited to talk about people analytics. I know I am. Now we still have some people joining. Hello. Piermont, New York. Hello. I love it. Yes, me too, Sean. Me too. Hey, Rochester. I love it. New York. Phoenix, Arizona. I'm coming to you live from Arkansas, so you know where I am. We're from all over. I love it. I love it. So we are 1 minute in, and so I'm going to go ahead and get started. So hello and welcome. My name is Robin Hoelscher, and I'm a technical consultant with Mosaic Consulting Group. Mosaic exclusively supports UKG clients, and I primarily work with people analytics, which I love. It's like working with puzzles all day long. I love helping people and building reports to make people's lives easier. Yeah, I've been working with UKG software for 13 years, and for 5 of those, I've been with Mosaic. And today we are going to be talking about the power of pages. So our agenda today, we're going to look at what are pages, the benefits of multiple page reports, and then we're also going to look at some page options as you're working with different reports. So first off, what are pages? So pages allow you to design the layout of your report, and it's similar to being the blueprints when you're building a house. It's all the design in the background. And here we're looking at just a blank page. If we look up at the top, in the top left, we have our navigation. If we look at the top right, this is going to be our display and properties section. I use this section a lot because I'm a very visual person, and as I build, I kind of like to test things out and build in preview mode. So if you are like that, I would suggest checking out clicking on page design and changing it to page preview. You can always go back to page design anytime you like, but it's a pretty cool option, especially if you're a visual person. Below our top box on the left, we have our icon for our toolbox. This is going to be where we find all of those tools to help us design our reports. And in the center, we have our main layout. This is our canvas. This is where we basically design our reports. So here we're taking a look at a designed page, and you can kind of see where that blank canvas was. We now have a report that's been designed and laid out on the page. So let's look into some of the details of what we're currently seeing. So we're looking at a page that has headers at the top. So if you're building a new report and you want to add headers, in the top editing menu, if you click on your more icon, you'll see the option to add headers and footers. We also have tables. Tables are great for organizing your reports in the layout, making it have a nice, easy to read design. And that is going to be found in your toolbox. Next, you can add just plain text to your layout. So if you want to add a title, if you want to list out the prompts that are included in your report, you can use the text icon or the text feature that's within your toolbox. And I've kind of highlighted different sections that are including just plain text in the layout. You can also add your run date and time. So this is a calculated field that all you do is drag and drop these tools from your toolbox into your layout, and it's automatically going to calculate whenever someone runs the report what that date and time is. This is especially useful if you're running it a number of times, or you need to be able to see that timestamp of what was the most recent report that was run. Adding your prompt selections. So this is a feature that will display the prompt selections when someone runs a report. So if I have a report that's prompted me to select company codes and I select company ABC, when I run the report, it's going to actually show that I selected ABC from the prompt. And to add that, in your toolbox, there is a layout calculation option. And all you have to do is just drag that tool and drop it exactly where you want that to show up in your layout. And I'm going to show you how you get that expression in there so that when it runs, it's going to show which prompt was selected. So let's take a look at how that calculates. So once you drop it into your layout, you're going to get a pop-up box. This pop-up box will have a blank expression definition section. So I've put steps in here on how you add that expression. You don't have to know how to write the expression or anything like that. So what you want to do in your pop-up box is you want to select the parameters icon at the bottom to open that menu. So you can see that's number 1 in our screenshot here. Then it's going to show you, it's going to list out all your current prompt options that are built into your report. And all you have to do to build that or to get that expression in there is just click on the prompt item you want to display and drop it into that expression definition section. It'll automatically write the expression for you. And then once you're done, all you do is click OK, and it's automatically going to add that to the layout of your report. And next, we're going to, yes, you will absolutely be able to see a copy of the slides. We're going to provide a copy of the slides, and this is also being recorded, so we will also provide a copy of the recording. Thank you so much for your question. So in our layout, you can add containers to display your data. So well, actually, the containers hold all your data, and you're just basically saying, how do I want it to lay out? So if we're looking in our toolbox, we're going to see a section for data containers. And this is where you're going to be able to find your lists. If you're wanting to see it in a cross tab, or as some people like to call it, it's like a pivot table if you love Excel like I do. You can add visualizations. And you can add singletons. So you have a whole group of different ways that you can select to lay out your actual data that is calculating. And in this example, I actually have multiple data containers. So each of those big red boxes in the middle, those are all separate data containers. So this actually shows you how you can have multiple sets of data displayed on a single page. So if I'm looking at my earnings section, that is its own set of data. And then in the middle, there's the deductions data. And then over to the right, it's going to be the taxes. Down below those big boxes, you're going to see where I have number of pays, total checks, those type things. Those items, those data items are called singletons. So singletons are not going to show the whole list, all the data that's, all the rows of data that's calculating in the background. It's going to show you that first row, your single row. So if you ever need to just show a single item, you don't need a full list, things like that, you can look at using a singleton. And this is an example of what that output would look like. So you can kind of see how we designed it, and then when it runs, all that data populates according to the design. So let's talk about the benefits of multiple page reports, as I like to call them, packages. And what these are, it's almost like different rooms in a house. So each room has its own function. So you have your kitchen that functions separately from your bedroom. The same is true for pages within a report. So I can have a page that is showing a summary, and I can have another page that's showing the detail. So you can utilize multiple page reports to basically accumulate a lot of the data that you would want to use for a process or auditing, things like that. And I talked a little bit about this first one. So displaying the same data in multiple layouts. So this is where you can have, say you have a headcount report and you like to see it grouped by supervisors. You can see headcounts by supervisor. But when you're working, you also want to see it maybe by location or department, things like that. Well, I can have all of those different types of layouts within a single report, so that I'm not having to run a number of reports to get the data that I need. And we talked about the deduction, or not deduction, but the summaries and the detail. So if you work with benefits, I know you always want to see those summaries. You always want to see that census data. You can build reports to get everything in one, so you're not having to run multiple reports. So displaying separate sets of data within a single report. And in this example, we're talking about having payroll history, and maybe you're doing a year-end audit. And you want to make sure that your year-end forms, your W-2s, your T4s, those totals actually reconcile back to your payroll history. Because if you work with UKG at year end, you know that payroll history has to push to all the W-2s to be generated. So you can have a report, run it, and have it automatically reconcile for you and tell you what those variances are, if any. It can increase efficiency, keep your information organized, and increase the functionality by consolidating multiple reports that maybe you use now into a single package. And I'll kind of pick on payroll a little bit because that's a lot of my background. But if we're thinking about, if we're processing payroll, maybe I need to see my payroll summary. I need to see my payroll detail. I want to see my payroll exceptions. Maybe I need to see the totals on just my 401k or my deferred comp. It would make things a lot easier if I can run one report, have it all in one Excel workbook. And if I'm sharing with a team, things like that, I don't have to send out multiple reports for everyone to look at and audit. It can just be one workbook that everyone is looking at. So it can save time, it can increase efficiency. I know I worked with one client where we built out a package where prior to that, I believe we were running probably 87, I think it was 87 reports during payroll processing in order to get everything audited, things like that. And we looked at building a package that automated some of those audits and basically had the report just show the audit results. So you didn't actually have to look through tons of data to identify those exceptions. It just automatically showed you, here are the exceptions I already found. Yes. Yes, it sure was. Thank you, Cheryl. Enhancing your data validations. So displaying calculated totals on one page and then having the detail behind that. So a lot of times if you think about, if you have compensation reports and you have a report that's calculating those payout amounts, well, you definitely want to audit, how those results are being calculated in the background to make sure they're valid. So you can have a package, I'm going to call it a package, where you have those payout amounts, but then you also have all that detail behind it that is producing those results. And this is an example of a multi-page report, or as I'm going to call it, a package. And this is a post-payroll report package. And when you're working in business intelligence, people analytics, I'll use the names simultaneously, to add additional pages to your reports. You want to use that report navigation section at the very top that we see on kind of on the left where it says report and then pages. So if you click on report, it's going to give you a drop down. And if you click on pages, it's going to take you to where you can add additional pages. And how you would do that is go to your nifty little toolbox there. Just grab one of those page icons and drop it into the center canvas area. And here you can see this is an example where we have a number of pages. We've got the payroll summary, we've got the payroll register, we have wage detail, tax liability grand totals, 401k, HSA, all those totals. So basically everything that you would need once you finish payroll and you need to reconcile everything, you can just run one report, have everyone reconcile from one report package. Saves a lot of time. So this is an example of what the output of that report would look like if you ran it to Excel. So here you can see there's each page populates on a separate tab within the workbook. And these are some additional examples of, these are things that we've built for clients to help increase their efficiencies, automate different things. So if you want to get some ideas of things you can build out, these are great examples. So we have the post-payroll report package that's going to have basically everything within your finalized payroll, all the stuff you need to reconcile your taxes, uh, those those files that are going to your deferred comp and HSA, different things like that. And then you have your pre-check. So my favorite part of the pre-check is that third bullet point. It's going to be the pre-check exceptions report. You can customize your pages to include anything you like. If you have a process that you're completing, you know, every payroll, we got to look for, you know, all the people who have zero net pays. You can just have a section within your package that just already looks for that and just says, here you go, here are all the people that have zero net pays. And in the slides that we'll share with you, there's going to be some additional examples of things if you want to get, you know, ideas for things maybe you can build out, or if Mosaic can help you in some way, you know, we're definitely happy to do that as well. Here we're looking at, I do want to point out the employee change audit package. This is one of my favorites. So, you know, maybe prior to payroll, or you have different audits that you're having to complete throughout the year, and you're needing to pull information on who your new hires were, who your terms were, who's currently on leave, whose auto pay may be off and they're salaried, and who's hourly and it's turned on. Those job history changes, all of that stuff that you're auditing, you can basically run one report and get all the results in a package. So let's look at some additional page options. So these are some kind of cool tools to help you work efficiently as you're working with multiple page reports or designing. So we're going to look at pages as tabs, running your current page that you're working on, or if you're working in a multiple page package, you can run single pages. You don't have to run that whole package every time. There is a way that you can run a single page when you have a number of pages. So pages as tabs. This is primarily when you have a report and you are wanting to display it in HTML. So you can set your report up so that when it runs in HTML, it's going to show up as tabs at the top, similar to what you would see in your browser when you have multiple tabs open in your browser. So to do that, what you want to do is you want to go to your navigation where it says report, your report navigation. It's number 1 there. And you want to just click on report. And it's going to take you to your report's properties. So within the properties section, and to open, make sure you can see the properties. If it's not already open, you want to click that radio button, the settings button that is in the top right corner, number 2 there. And within those report options, there is one that says view pages as tabs. And if you select to display them at the top or to the left, either one, I'll show you what that ends up looking like. So this is that same report that we were looking at in Excel, but now it's ran in HTML, and I can see I have all of my different pages as tabs at the top that I could easily click through. So when you are working in design mode and this works for either single page reports or multiple page reports, but maybe you want to just run the page that you're currently working on. So while you are in the design mode, if you click on the selector icon, that's going to be in that edit menu. It's number 1 there. You want to select the page. And then we're going to go to step 2. Step 2, once you've selected the page, you're going to see a new icon, and it's the same as the run icon that's at the very, very top of the page in green. It's that white triangle at the very top. So now you have a new icon. It's that same triangle run icon, and it's going to let you select the format that you would like to run that specific page in. Then to run a single page in a multi-page report, what you can do is go to the report navigation and select pages, and it's going to show you your full listing of all your different pages. Well, all you have to do is select, just single click. If you double click, it's going to open the page. You don't really want to open the page. So you want to just single click to select the page. And once you do that, you're going to have a new option in your editing menu. And it's that same small triangle run icon. So if you click on that drop down arrow, you'll be able to select the format that you would like to run that page in. And so Mosaic has a lot a lot of different technical offerings, but I wanted to point out, if you're interested in specifically business intelligence, people analytics, reporting support, you're always welcome to go to our website, mosaiccg.com. And if you go to services and the technical section, we have a section specifically on BI reporting. And I'd like to take, a few minutes. If you have any questions, things like that, please feel free, drop them in the chat. Or you're also welcome to follow up with us at marketing@mosaic.com. I'll give it a few more minutes if anybody has some questions. Thank you, Veronica, for putting that in the chat. Thank you. Yes, so many ideas. I love looking at processes and seeing, well, what reports are you currently running? How can we consolidate that? How can we automate your calculations or audits? I love it. Oh, you're very welcome. My pleasure, Nathan. My pleasure. Yes, Cheryl. I know it made my life so much easier when I was overseeing payroll department, and we first implemented UKG, and I was running all of these standard reports, and then the standard reports, didn't have all the fields I needed and stuff like that. And BI was the answer. It was great. Absolutely. So within the community, if you do a search for people analytics resources, UKG has a dedicated page that has a ton of information about working with people analytics, how to do different things. They also post links to their webinars if you want to check those out, which they're very informational. I think I've watched all of them. I love it. I will put a link to it in the chat. Let me pull it up real quick. All right, I just dropped that link, and that is UKG's People Analytics resources. Thank you, Margaret. Thank you. Yeah, I use the community People Analytics resources page all the time. Oh, you're welcome. My pleasure, really, really. Thank you. Thank you. And if you want to also send questions and things like that to marketing at mosaic-cg.com, um, you know, we will definitely get all those questions answered for you by our dedicated SMEs. We have a whole team that are people analytics, business intelligence experts. They're awesome. All right. I know we are a couple of minutes after 11:30. So please continue to send your questions. We're happy to answer any of those. But we will go ahead and say goodbye for now. And please check us for our next webinar. Thank you so much for your time today.